when the horses arrive here, and we're going to talk about the positive tests that we have had lately a little bit later. When is the horse sickness vaccine? Because obviously the horse sickness vaccine cannot be given while they're in Europe.
Correct. So it's a live virus, so you can't give it to them in Europe. It used to be given relatively soon after they arrived. Jean prefers to wait a week after they've arrived. And the reason she wants to wait a week, you're injecting the horse with a live virus. If they've got any bit of travel sickness or anything like that, any illness that could potentially compromise them once you've given them the African horse sickness vaccine, she doesn't want to get them sicker than what they need to be. So she'll wait a week, make sure that they're 100% healthy, they're not carrying a little bit of illness from the flight, and then generally within a week, they've been given their first vaccine, and then just before they come out, normally, if they normally come out on a Wednesday, normally on the Monday, they've had their second horse sickness vaccine.
And how do you find horses coming into the country acclimatize? Like, what should owners just bear in mind? Every horse is obviously very different, but should they be giving them a little bit of time to acclimatize? Should they be giving them a second round of horse sickness vaccines as soon as possible? What's your recommendation?
So, look, horse sickness, the case studies has always been the more they've had the vaccine, the stronger their immunity. So for most of my clients, I'd recommend if they've landed to give them a little bit of a breather, put them into, so they've come out of quarantine, you can put them into a light work them lightly for a month, then give them another round of African horse sickness. So they'll be off for a little over 3 weeks, and then bring them back into work again. In terms of how they acclimatize, obviously their coat. So if they're coming from a summer condition over there, they've got their summer coat. So normally in our winter, they've got their summer coat, but come summer, they'll often throw a winter coat. So I prefer not to clip them. I think they acclimatize a little bit better unclipped. But that obviously also depends on the horse's health as well, and how much of a winter coat they've got, how hot the summer is. So I prefer to not clip them. And generally within one season, they will have acclimatized. So within a year, they've acclimatized and they've got.
So fuss bait for 1 year.
Fuss bait for 1 year. I've been told by some of the top riders that I import for, the mares tend to take a little bit longer to acclimatize. So they'll often say to me, it's taken them a year to get the horse that they tried in Europe. So I don't know if that's a cycling thing with their hormones and things like that. Geldings, I think, are a little bit, haven't got hormones to contend with, so a little bit easier for them to acclimatize. And I would imagine the same probably goes for a stallion. They've come from a breeding season in Europe into a breeding season in South Africa.
Or they're coming into the longest dry spell of their lives.
Correct.
For boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So generally give them a year to acclimatize. Let them get used to everything. Generally, what's the rush?